Welcome to Furniture Redesigned by MBM. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This bed is what we'll be working on today. I will be painting it and also updating the middle with some fabric. Now, I did do a matching dresser a couple of weeks ago, and for those who are interested, I'll leave a link to that dresser in the description box below. So the first thing I want to do is to clean this piece. So I'm going to give you a closer look at the piece first. It has these metal discs at the top here and also on the footboard. It's a very simple piece, doesn't need any repairs, so we're going to jazz this baby up a little bit. So I have my TSP mixture and I have some water, and now I just want to spray my piece down, and I'll use a towel to scrub the piece clean. If you're enjoying this piece and you're not a subscriber, you want to make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. The bed is clean, and now I'm going to take this fresh water and rinse off the TSP. This is very important because we don't want to leave any of the cleaner on the bed, which may affect our paint. It's been about 15 minutes, and I have a sheet of sanding paper, 150 grit, and I'm just going to wrap it around my sanding block here. And I just want to scuff sand on my furniture, and I'm going to start with the footboard. Then I'll take a damp towel and I'll wipe away the dust and debris after sanding. Now it's time for paint. I'm placing my footboard here on this table. This will make it easier to work on. For paint, I'm using milk paint and white by Rust-Oleum. But before I add my paint, I want to go ahead and add some primer. And I'll be using my go-to primer, Zinsser 123. I want to prime it because, again, this is a darker color and I don't want to have bleed through. So we're going to get the primer on here first. Also, I'm going to prime the entire footboard. I'm not sure if I want to put any upholstery on it. So because of that, I'll just go ahead and prime and paint it, and I can still make up my mind whether I want to do upholstery. I'm going to get my first coat of primer on, let it dry, add a second coat, and we'll come back for the next step. I have 2 coats of primer on. Now I'm ready to add my Rust-Oleum milk paint. I've already added it to a container, and I have my short handle angle brush, which I'll be using to apply my paint. I'm back and my first coat of paint is dry. Now we're ready to add the second coat. Before I get started, I just want to take this 220 grit sandpaper and I want to lightly go over the bed. I'm doing this to make sure I don't have any debris in my paint, and my second coat will go smooth with no lumps or bumps. Now I'll take my damp cloth and just wipe it back. This way I'll make sure there's no dust left on my bed before I add my second coat of paint. Before adding my second coat of paint, I'm also going to make sure I mist my piece. I'll be misting as I paint. The misting or the water will allow the paint to go on smooth and leave very few brush marks. You can't tell from this angle, but if you notice, I keep dipping my brush because I'm adding very little paint. I'm adding very little paint because I don't want my paint pooling in corners or running down my piece. I'm going to continue painting my bed. I'll add 2 to 3 coats of paint to make sure I have full coverage, and we'll come back for the next step. The paint is on my bed, and I'm going to just add a top coat to the headboard before I work on the upholstery. I don't want to scratch it up with the stapler, so I'm just going to add the top coat of poly acrylic on before I do my upholstery. I'm going to leave this to dry for 2 hours, and then I'll come back and upholster the headboard. It's time for upholstery, and this is all the foam that I have, but we're going to make it work. I'm going to cut my ends off straight. Then I'll measure it down to size. Now I want to straighten out the top portion. Now it's not quite deep enough, so I'm going to cut it straight and then add another piece to it to make it the right depth. I've cut 2 more pieces that I'm going to use my Gorilla fabric glue to glue together to make the right depth. Now that I have my foam piece together, I want to spray the inner piece of the headboard, and then I'll push the foam down tightly to the bed. I have this quilting batting, but it's going to work. I've already cut a piece down to size, and I'm going to place this over the foam. So my camera wasn't rolling, but I took my gilding wax and I used it on these tacks or upholstery tacks that were gifted to me. Now they are a, dark color, almost black, a gold with black. But to brighten it up to where I want it to be, I'm using the gilding wax on the upholstery tacks and adding them to my bed to make the tufts. I marked my tufts 5 inches apart in the center, and then 2 inches over and 5 inches apart on the top and on the bottom row. There is 3 rows. I used the box cutter to open up the hole. This will make it easy for my tacks to go in. Getting these tacks in the wood is very challenging, but however, I'm going to get it done. Now, I didn't go into a lot of details on how I actually did this tufting, but I do have other videos which I'll leave in the description box below if you want to check them out on how I tuft. I'm not a professional, but this is how I do it. Because I only glued down the middle of my foam, this allows me to fold under my fabric, giving my tufting a smooth top edge. I'll do the same thing on the bottom and pull the sides tightly around the back before stapling. Now I have my glue sticks and I have my hot glue gun. I'm going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to glue down my fold edge at the top and the bottom of my headboard. Making sure that I don't use too much hot glue and get it on the fabric so that it shows. So again, I'm not an upholsterer, but this is how I imagined it in my head, and I'm just trying to carry out that idea. Let me know if you would have done it differently. Now I'm going to flip my headboard over, and now I can begin stapling the fabric to the back of the bed. For me, I don't want any raw edges because I want it to look nice on the back side, so I'm folding under any raw edges. I'll also cut away any fabric to keep it from being bulky. I'm going to get the other side done and we'll come back for the reveal. And now that I'm recording, I can see some errors that I made with the glued edge, but I'll go back and correct those. But other than that, it turned out pretty good. Here at the foot of the bed, I also brought in that gold gilding wax in all the carved areas of the bed. The headboard was a little plain, so I added the tufting and also the gold gilding wax in the carved areas. Now again, the tufting is not quite perfect, but still will make someone quite happy. Now because it's a full-size bed, it will work perfect in a young adult or a child's room, and they should be quite happy with it. And here's a peek at the matching dresser. Now if you're watching and you're not a subscriber, it's time to hit the subscribe button. And make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll know when I upload new videos. Let me say thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye now.